Member for Toronto Danforth.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, my question to the Acting Premier. Last May, the Liberal government announced a scheme to use borrowed cash to artificially and temporarily lower hydro bills before the election. After the election, ratepayers would need to pay back $40 billion in debt and interest. The government House Leader, who was then the Conservative energy critic, obtained a leaked cabinet document that showed how this hydro borrowing scheme would drive up hydro bills by 70% over the next 10 years. 70%. He described the Liberal scheme as, quote, deceitful, dishonest, and shady, end quote. So why is the Premier keeping this deceitful, dishonest, and shady Liberal scheme that will add $40 billion on the
I'm asking the member to withdraw because I'm parliamentary comment.
I withdraw.
Response, Deputy Premier.
To the Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let's talk about another set of numbers that are factual, true, and about to reduce the ratepayers' costs for energy across this province. We set out a campaign promise to reduce those by 12%, Mr. Speaker. It involved a number of important steps which have occurred over the past couple of weeks. That target is 12%. It's achieved by renewing leadership at Hydro One. It's achieved by cancelling contracts that are going to ultimately cost taxpayers way more money than it was worth. $790 million in savings is the number that we're dealing with, Mr. Speaker. That's what Ontarians listened to on June 7th. That's why there's 76 of us in this House. Promise made, promise kept. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary. Members, please take your seats. Supplementary.
Well, apparently the minister is not aware of the party's policies, but then I will go back to this question. Seems the Premier has decided to keep all the worst Liberal hydro plans. He won't return Hydro One to full public ownership, and he's going to keep the Liberal hydro borrowing scheme that his own minister called deceitful, dishonest, and shady. Will he also use the same accounting tricks the Liberals used to hide the truth about the $40 billion hydro borrowing scheme?
Mr. Speaker, through you to my colleagues, can I be forgiven for not paying attention to Liberal policies on energy? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we continue to be focused like a laser on reducing hydro rates for Ontario taxpayers and for Ontario ratepayers. I'm a bit worried when the NDP start talking about an exercise of going into the private sector. Those two tend not to jive, Mr. Speaker. We've come up with a plan to renew Hydro One leadership, to lower costs by cancelling programs that were going to be represented a significant cost to ratepayers and taxpayers, Mr. Speaker. This is the promise we made on June 7th, and this is the promise that we're going to keep, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.